What's up, everybody? Josh Armijo here. I hope everybody's doing good and well and stuff. I got an Arsenal inventory update to do for you guys. Vinyl this time, and horror and hellfire are some of the themes I'm going to be discussing here. And the first record I'm going to be talking to you about is of a band that is set to have a new full-length album coming out within the next couple of months here in 2018. This is a death metal band that has won me over in more ways than one. They appeared on my, I think they were on my 2015 year-end list. I don't really remember, but anyways, this band has a lot of hellfire coming in the new year, and in celebration of that, let's talk about their previous works. This is Otto Crater with The Obedience to Authority. Yeah. This is originally released in 2016 through Crusader Productions and Gods of War Productions on CD, and this is the vinyl version put out through the very, very awesome Larval Productions. And to refresh your memory, Otto Crater are a band based out of France that take the sound of death metal and incorporate elements of electronics, noise, drone, industrial, to create this very evil, cold, dense sort of sound and atmosphere. And they did so amazingly well with their self-titled debut. I still consider that to be one of the hardest hitting debuts to come out in quite some time. Literal sledgehammer blow to the gut. And this second album pretty much kept up with their darker, seedy, industrial sort of vibes, and you heard it throughout the 8 tracks that are on this album. Yeah, even darker riffs, darker drum programming, the vocals are even nastier. Just an overall crazy record, and I love the fact that this album is set up into multiple chapters. And as each song goes along, the themes and the elements get a lot more darker and a lot more sinister. Especially the closing track. Feels like you're in an interrogation room and the suspense is just taut. It feels like a thriller when you listen to that certain song. And man, it's just a scary, scary album to listen to. And this still holds up very, very well. And yeah, like I said, they're going to have a new album coming out later this year. I will be covering it sometime in the month of March. And things will only get better for Otto Crater from here. So anyway, here's the front cover. Love this album cover art. There you see the Otto Crater emblem right here. Back cover. Badass photography and design work here. Gatefold. Band members in question. Lyrics. And I believe this is limited to 500 copies, and they all come on this nice heavyweight black vinyl. We have side A, side B. I believe this is still readily available through Larval Productions if you want to get it through there, or through Crusader, which is of course the label run by the guitarist of Otto Crater. If I'm not mistaken, you can get some internationally there. But yeah, anything Otto Crater has put out over these last few years have been amazing. Especially this album, The Obedience to Authority by Otto Crater. Go check this one out. From France, we moved to Sri Lanka to one of my favorite albums from 2015, and this is an absolutely bestial, evil sort of band. This is Genocide Shrines with Manipura Imperial Deathevocaville, Scriptures of Reversed Purana Dar Murder. Yeah, all these years later, and this album title is still a bitch to get off of the tongue. Yeah. This was originally released in 2015 through Vaults of Dried Bones, and this is the vinyl version put out co-released through Vaults of Dried Bones and Iron Bonehead Productions. And these guys are based out of Sri Lanka, and they play this very primal, ugly, torn for war sort of style of blackened death metal. And it's just so complex. I mean, this band put out an EP a couple of years prior to this. I forget the name of it, but it's almost of a tongue twister sort of album EP title. But yeah, you can tell from that EP to now, Genocide Shrines are an even crazier, harder working band than ever before. I mean, I don't know if you can even put them into the same sort of category as traditional sort of Black Death, War Metal, Bestial Metal, all that kind of shit. Genocide Shrines are in a league of their own, and they put out some seriously hellish Black Death here with this album. I mean, listening to this album, songs like Subterranean Catacomb, Termination Temple, yeah, some of these song titles are fucking tongue twisters in my opinion, but yeah, that song in particular and the rest of this album is just straight up hellfire to listen to. I fucking love this band, and I'm very excited to see and hear what things, if things continue to go on in this pathway for Genocide Shrine. So anyway, here's the front cover. Love this art, love the matte finish on this jacket. Back cover, Genocide Shrines, love this artwork and the Ouroboros design here. Track listings, of course the very long album name to suit it. Vault of Dried Bones, Iron Bonehead. Comes with a printed lyric sheet. Band member photos, established in 2013. So yeah, this band is still somewhat relatively new, but they are making serious moves. Lyrics for all the tracks, most of the credits here. Artwork in question, more artwork in question I should say, and yeah, I don't know the limitation on this vinyl to be specific. I'm pretty sure this is also 500 copies, and it's on a standard black vinyl. Side A, Side B with this badge emblem here, very very nice. But yeah, Genocide Shrines are the real deal, and I'm so excited to see how they continue to progress along as a band and as musicians. But yeah, Genocide Shrines, Manipura, Imperial Death of Oakville, Scriptures of Reverse Purana Dar Murder. Let that album title roll off your tongue nicely and just jam along with it. It's good shit. Alright, these next two records are of the same band, and this band has been making somewhat of a resurgence when it comes to the realms of social media and internet stuff, preferably internet memes, because once these internet memes of this band started popping up, the more and more they came, the more and more funnier they have. But in the process of making these hilarious memes, it gave people the incentive to want to listen to this band again. And I, of course, am talking about New York's own horror collective, Mortician. Now, last year I did a video talking about releases from two distinctive East Coast bands, Incantation and Mortician. I talked about a couple of Mortician records in that video, but I have a couple of more Mortician records to show you here this time around, and they hold up just as well as the ones I showed in the last video. So yeah, let's get started for the sick horror freaks out there. This is Mortician with Domain of Death. Yeah. This is their third full-length album from 2001. This was originally released on Relapse Records, and like any of the Mortician releases of later years, this got the vinyl treatment through Hell's Headbangers, and this is the first time it's ever been put on vinyl. But yeah, if you know the Mortician song formula, but anyway, they're based out of New York, and if you know the Mortician song formula of how things go, you should already be familiar with what you're going to expect. Overly long horror movie samples, very loud, obnoxiously tuned bass, loud riffs, super deep guttural vocals, very brief lyrical passages. It's just an over-the-top sort of band, and of course, whether you love them or hate them, there's an entertainment value about Mortician that is just so entertaining, and you cannot deny the entertainment value of Mortician. And this album is a very, very awesome one to listen to. I mean, Maimed and Mutilated, Cannibalized, the song about fucking scanners, Telepathic Terror, Tenebrae. There's even a few cover tracks on here, Pulsating Protoplasma by Pungent Stench, and a Disastrous Murmur cover of Extrauterine Pregnancy. So fucking sick and crazy. I fucking love this album a lot. So anyway, here's the front cover. West Bend Scotter art, glossy gatefold jacket. Back cover here. Track listing. Gatefold with lyrics and credits. There you see Will Romer and Roger Beaujard doing the damn thing. Lyrics for all the tracks. And I was lucky enough to get the color variant of this album, and this came on a very gorgeous oxblood red copper bronze merge. Yeah. Love the B-side of this record. It's so fucking grotesque and over the top. But yeah, that's what I fucking love about these Mortician reissues. Hell's Headbangers does great care with all of them. And they all sound badass. But yeah, Domain of Death is a great Mortician record. I still think the one that came before it is still my all-time favorite Mortician album with Chainsaw Dismemberment. Still holds up very nicely, but yeah, Domain of Death, still a fun album to listen to, so check this one out. And continuing on with Mortician here, we have something that came out from this band almost a decade plus ago, and this was the last time we had heard something from Mortician. Once again, this is Mortician with Reanimated Dead Flesh. Yeah. This was self-released by the band in 2004, and originally the only vinyl treatment that it got was in the form of a picture disc, but this is the first time that it has been released as a vinyl as standalone. And yeah, there was a significant change in sound when it came to Mortician, but the only thing I could really tell that changed was the drum programming. And you can tell that the drum programming sounded a little bit different. It sounded a little more primal and a little more ferocious sounding, but it definitely had that Mortician edge. But the things that didn't really change were what you would normally expect from Mortician. The loud bass, the loud audible guitars, the ultra-guttural vocals by Will Romer, the long horror movie samples, and of course the fact that this album has a somewhat tie-in to Reanimator, H.P. Lovecraft shit, but yet still has a lot of the horror topics that you are best accompanied to know about Mortician, like Werewolf's Curse, Marauding Savages, Unseen Force of Death, Buzzards, Crazed for Blood, Slugs. Such fun stuff here. This is a fucking awesome Mortician record. I see this one get a lot of shit sometimes, and honestly, I don't really know why. I don't know if people would consider it weak by Mortician standards, but who fucking cares? I love this album. I celebrate it just as much as I do anything in this band's discography, and I cannot wait to see these guys live later this year. So anyway, here's a fun cover. Once again, glossy gatefold. Mike Rovacek did this artwork. Very, very distinctive, over-the-top, crazy artwork. Glossy gatefold here, back cover. Love this decapitated head. Track listing. Gatefold. There you see, once again, Will and Roger. And there is the decapitated head of the dude from fucking Reanimator. The dude that eats out the girl in that one scene. But yeah. Lyrics, credits, and information. Comes with a fold-out poster of the artwork. If I can just find that really quickly. Yeah, here we go. Very badass poster art here. You can definitely frame this bad boy up. Good quality here. And there are multiple vinyl variations of this album. I think this got the Hell's Headbangers picture disc treatment in addition to a glow-in-the-dark vinyl. But I just got the standard color vinyl, and this comes on a very nice highlighter green, yellowish greenish color with dark green splatter. Absolutely badass. Yeah, side A, side B here. Absolutely sick. Love this shit to death. But yeah. Reanimated Dead Flesh is a badass Mortician record. Like I said, this was the last time we had heard a full length from them, but hopefully, if they do decide to come out with a new album, everyone will be ready for it, and who knows, they could the real drums could be on their new shit. But yeah. Reanimated Dead Flesh by Mortician. Go check this one out. And these last two records are not the same artist, but they are from the same country, and that is the country of Singapore. Singapore knows how to get the job done when it comes to delivering high-quality bestial metal, whether it be black metal or death metal. And Nuclear War Now recently put out a bunch of reissues from some seriously killer and notable bands from the country, and one of them is an amazing one. This is ABHORER with Oblation 2, Abyssic Demonolatries. Yeah. Devil Slut Records, distribution by Nuclear War Now, but yeah. You have to know who ABHORER are if you're into metal from Singapore. I mean, they came out with an absolutely amazing debut album from back in the late 90s with Zygotical, Saboteur, Anabapt. That album still holds up wonderfully to this very day, almost 20 years later. But this is a compilation of some demos from this band's early past, preferably the very first demo that they ever did, Rumpus of the Dead from late 1989, and the unreleased demo, which is the name of this compilation, from 1991. Absolutely crazy sorts of lineups going on with these two demos, but it shows you the early rawness and over-the-topness of a band like ABHORER. Heathendom Incarnate, Abandonment of Chastity, of course the stuff from the debut demo, Repudiated Faith, Diabolic Epitaph. Absolutely, absolutely amazing demo work. And of course, ABHORER have a very important place within the annals of extreme metal with their early demos and their debut full-length. But yeah, ABHORER kick ass. So anyway, here's the front cover. Love this drawing artwork going on here. Back cover. Track listing for both demos. Gatefold. Got some flyers and collage artwork here. Some liner notes about the history of these two particular releases and what ABHORER would do since then. Comes with a fold-out sheet that could also serve as a poster. Some more liner notes and photos of the band. Some old-school sort of stuff. And there you have this artwork of Rumpus of the Dead. Yeah, R.I.P. Rumpus of the Undead. Fucking rowdy-ass shit. And I don't know the limitation on this one, but there were two different variants. Standard black vinyl and the version that I got on translucent red vinyl. There you see side A. Side B here. Good quality as to be expected through Nuclear War Now. Very, very badass. But yeah, ABHORER are a very important band within the spectrum of metal from Singapore and Asia and all that stuff. And yeah. Oblation 2, Abyssic Demonolatries by ABHORER. Check this one out. And last but not least, this band just recently announced a string of US tour dates with Gravehill and Divine Eve. I will be seeing these guys in April sometime soon, and I have not seen this band live since 2011, so this will serve as some very memorable times for me when I get to see them again. This is Impiety with Salve the Goat, Iblis Excelsi. Yeah. Once again, this is a Nuclear War Now reissue, and they've been killing it with all these fucking demo releases they've been putting out lately, but yeah. This is a compilation of a multitude of this band's earlier works from the early 90s, preferably the Salve the Goat EP, the Ceremonial Necrochrist Redesecration demo from 1992, and a bunch of live tracks from 1991. Yeah, the early days of Impiety were absolutely wild and crazy. I mean, back when this band went underneath different sorts of names and they underwent sort of different identities. I mean, we know the vocalist bassist Shiathan Command. He once was known as Goat Lord Cunt Shredder. Amazing, amazing name here. But yeah, seriously killer early demo material. Very raw and bestial, sort of thrashy black death metal. Magic Consecration, Goat Sodomy, Pentagrammethon, the Seventh Goat Spawn. Seriously classic early material. Of course, this band would only get greater and fulfill a wonderful legacy from there after this release. Of course, albums like Skull Fucking Armageddon, Paramount Evil, and a whole bunch of other great stuff. I mean, these guys ooze the machismo of black metal, but yet incorporate their own special sorts of styles going for it. Impiety fucking rule, and I love them to death. But anyway, here's the front cover. Love this artwork here, the old school Impiety logo here. Back cover, another old Impiety logo here. track listing for all the demos, Nuclear War Now, the main classic band photos, gatefold with information for each of the demos included on this, liner notes by Shiathan Command himself for each of the certain demo releases. Very good insight and commentary here. And once again, this also had two different variants, standard black vinyl, and I also got a translucent red for this Impiety record. Very, very high quality here. Side B, love this artwork here. And interestingly enough, some of this stuff can also be found on a compilation that Hell's Headbangers put out a couple of years ago, which pretty much compiled everything of Impiety's early works, EPs, demos, splits, Vengeance, Hell, Immemorial, I think that's what that's called. Yeah, that one has everything, pretty much, as far as early Impiety goes, but this is a special vinyl release for the very first early works of Impiety. But yeah, I can't wait to see these guys on tour, and they're gonna fucking kill it and crush it, I'm sure of it. But yeah, this is definitely mandatory purchasing for Impiety fans. Salve the Goat, Iblis Excelsi, fucking amazing. And yeah, I'm gonna conclude this video. I'm gonna leave you some links to some of the bands I talked to you about here in this video. If you happen to have heard or own any of these releases, definitely let me know what you think and how you feel about it. And if you're curious to know what we're listening to in the background of this video here, I think I'm gonna start doing that for all these collection videos that I do. I don't really do that all that much, but I may as well do that anyway. Expander, Endless Computer, another Nuclear War Now release, Austin, Texas based, death metal, punk sort of hybrid. If you're into like Voivod or any of that sort of shit, Expander, a fucking blast. I saw him live with Mammoth Grinder a couple of weeks ago. Fun stuff. But yeah, yeah. Have a great rest of your weekend. Thanks a lot for watching. Thanks for checking out my channel. Until the next time, Army Hope out.